All right. We want to first be our best selves, to absolutely move into a place where we are in authority over our own experience. And that is day to day to day. Number two, we want to take that beingness into the world, because you and I, all of us, every person on this screen are going to influence our planet. It doesn't have to be overt. It can be subtle. Our influence is simply vibrating at the rate we are vibrating and sharing that out into the world. Okay. So the short version of what I just said is alchemy is designed to take you from where you're at to where you want to be and something better. So let's get into the information that I have for you today. This was channeled in December, early December, and it kept coming in and building upon itself. And the first thing that was shared with me is there are 3 key tools to navigate any challenge or any roadblock. First and foremost, you have to have a solid foundation. When you move into clearing energies that are holding you back from full expression, you must have a solid foundation, and that foundation is absolute neutrality. When we're in the midst of what's going on, it's very difficult to gain clarity because we're still enmeshed with the energy of the challenge. So, neutrality, and you also want to first ask, is this mine? And to get the answer to that, you have to clear your energy. So because we have such a diverse group, some who have been in the trust circle, some who have not, let me share my method for clearing the energy in my bubble. I close my eyes, I go into a meditation, I anchor into the ground, I anchor into the universe, I run energy through my vertical tube, excuse me, and then I expand it into my bubble. I pulse this white light so that my bubble is cleared of anything that is not mine. And that's the intention you set. Clear anything that is not mine. You don't want anybody else's energy in it. Your bubble, the skin around your energy systems, is like the skin on your body. You would not invite anybody into your kidneys or your liver or your bloodstream. So you sure don't want them in your energy. So when we clear our bubble, we anchor into the planet, we anchor into the universe, into our higher self. Then we step into neutrality. And there's a calm and a peace that pervades our entire system. Sometimes it takes deep breathing. I've used going for a walk as a tool. That's one of my favorites. Heavy exercise, jump on the bike, go for a run, go for a swim. Whatever tool, and this is for you to discern, right? What are the tools that you will use to ensure that you have a foundation that is clear and neutral? Then you go into three things: DOC, discern, observe, and curiosity. If you ask the question, is this mine? And you get a yes, you want to define it. You want to give it a label. And I don't care what label you use. You can call it Gladys. You can call it anxiety. You can call it frustration or anger. Whatever you call it, don't invite it in. Just discern it. What is that energy that you're seeing? Once you understand and you put it in a bubble or you put it outside yourself, you can put it in a glass jar, whatever tool you want to use, externalize it. Do not invite it into your systems. Remember, our bubble is sacred. We want to keep it clear. So it's in front of you, it's outside of you, and then you go into observe. Observe your body, your mind, and your intuitive response to the energy outside of you. What are the messages that you're receiving? Do you feel it in a specific part of your body? Does it invoke a memory? Is it backwards thinking or forwards thinking? Because most of the time when we step into these challenges, it's one or the other, right? It's rarely you being in the present moment, unless you're being chased by a tiger. Then just run. What is it evoking in you? What is your body's trying to tell you? You have all the intelligence within you, right? This will give you information. Now, like I shared in the beginning, I want to write it down. So I will take notes. What am I feeling? Am I feeling hot? Am I feeling cold? Am I feeling frustration? Am I feeling aggravated? Am I feeling anxiety? Am I feeling grief? What is it evoking in me? And then curiosity. What does it want to show me? Open up your senses even more deeply and start to interact. Start asking questions. Be curious. Who are you? What do you want to share with me? What do you want to know? And stick with it until you get some answers. So discern. Is this mine? And what is it? Observe. What is it doing? Where is it showing up? What does it want to tell me? Curiosity. Dive deeper. What more can I learn? Is this current life? Is it past life? Right? Is it karmic? Or is it something that's happening in this life? Now we move on to the second part of the information I want to share with you. What are the three most common types of roadblocks? And this was really interesting when I brought it in. I thought it was such an elegant encapsulation of what we go through and how challenges and roadblocks show up in our life. So before I move on, any questions or and I'm going to apologize because I can't watch chat, keep up with my notes, and do all this. I'm pretty good, but I'm not that good. So if you do have questions, just raise your hands. And well, thank you, Grace Ann. All right. Karen.
So you kind of left us looking at this thing in a bubble. Do you put it down? Do you you're going to go into roadblocks, which is kind of seeming different, but I'm still looking at this thing in a glass jar.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to define the types of roadblocks that we run into, and then talk about what we do with this energy in the bubble based on the roadblock that we're moving through. Does that help? You asked the good questions, Karen. Thank you. All right. 3 types of roadblocks. Number 1, fear and anxiety. Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. I like the dictionary. Anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So the conditions are occurring in the present moment, but they are driven from a future seeing or a backward seeing perspective. So while we're sitting in fear or anxiety, we've externalized it in our bubble. Often what you will find is it will find a place within the body. It'll be in the heart, if it's anxiety. It'll be in the solar plexus. If it's fear, could be in the root chakra. If it has to do with existence and safety. So what is it telling you? Is it in the past? Is it in the future? Is it real? Is it a premonition? Is it intuitive? Is it a construct? Is it imposed from somebody else? Again, going back to, is this mine? One of the challenges that I ran into was I was working with a trainer, and every time I went to training, I would be anxious. And that's not how you want to go work with someone, right? So I did the exact exercise that we talked about, and I put the anxiety into a bubble, and I started asking questions. Why do I feel anxious when I walk into the facility? Why do I feel anxious when we're starting a new to me series of exercises? Why do I feel fear if I take a misstep? And the more questions I asked, the deeper it took me into the experience, until I finally found a thread. And that thread led me to a time when I was a child. And that thread informed me that being shamed, being blamed, was an uncomfortable environment and harkened back to my experience in my youth. Now, as a child, we can't very well walk out of a classroom. We can't very well walk away from an adult, right? At least back then you couldn't. Today we have more permissions. Our kids are a little more savvy. So then I understood why I was feeling this way. And for me, it was that pit of the stomach, you know, that unease that just settles into your gut. So as an adult, I got to choose to say no. And here's how it played out. I had a very honest and frank conversation with my trainer. I explained to her how I was feeling, why I was feeling this way, and that I was choosing to A, no longer come back to the facility, and B, no longer work with her. It did not support my well-being. This is us stepping into our authority over our experience. This is us choosing, actively choosing what serves us, what does not serve us. Now, if you close your eyes, you can feel the power of intention of that action. It was self-loving, self-caring, nurturing. And all of those things were the underpinning of personal power. So when we're faced with fear or anxiety, moving it into the bubble that is sitting in front of you, using discernment, observation, and curiosity allows you to understand the origin of that fear and anxiety. I'm going to give you a second scenario because I think it's really important, and I'm going to use our next roadblock to demonstrate that. Beliefs and behaviors. That's number 2. So number 1 is fear and anxiety. Number 2 is beliefs and behaviors. Beliefs are born out of our rational mind trying to make sense of something. An acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. And I know every single person on this call is powerful enough to know that that is limiting. And we can change beliefs in the moment. That's really important. What do you want to believe, and does it serve you? Does it serve you? Does that belief move you forward or hold you back? The same with behavior. Behavior is how an animal or person acts in response to a particular situation or stimulus. Beliefs and behaviors, again, pull you out of the present or in your past or in your future, but not always grounded in reality unless the aforementioned tiger, right? So when we have, so we've moved through discern, observe, curiosity. We have our belief or behavior in the bubble. We've given it construct through understanding where it occurs in the body, in our mind, right? Because beliefs come from the mind. They're constructs of the mind. A belief in the heart is grounded and founded in love. And it just is. It doesn't need to be defined. It just is. So the belief in the mind is in the bubble or the jar in front of you. Is it real? No. Is it relevant to my situation? No. Then you have two opportunities, and this is the second way to move through roadblocks. One, you can sit in that belief, such as, I believe that person is mean and has it out for me. You can sit in that belief until it dissolves, because it's not real. Nobody has it out for you. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. That's their stuff. Don't take on their stuff. You don't want it. Right? So allowing it to dissolve. And the more you sit in it, the less power it has over your experience. If you're sitting in that belief and it doesn't dissolve, then you replace it. That person is mean and has it out for me is replaced with, wow, he's having a really hard time. This is a reflection of them. And then you can feel your heart open. You can feel the compassion start to develop within you. And then it dissolves and it moves away. And it no longer makes you feel less than or sad or angry. And that belief dissolves. Similarly with behaviors. Behaviors typically are responses to situation. We behave with anger. We behave with frustration. We behave by running away. We behave by fighting. That's when you pull back, you pull in, and you pull it out. So you pull back from the behavior, clear your energy systems, pull it out in front of you, and ask if this is in alignment with who you are being. Is this the behavior that you want? And then choose differently. Again, you wait until it dissolves, or you can replace it with a different behavior. I'm not going to be angry. I'm going to take a walk and I'm going to come back clear-headed, clear-hearted. And developing your tools, understanding your suite, your repertoire of tools that support you navigating through these red roadblocks is important. What are you going to do in response to the situation? So again, using discernment, observe, and curiosity. The third roadblock is an obstacle or a challenge. Now, I found this one fascinating because, fear and anxiety, we get that every day, right? That's pretty common. Beliefs and behaviors, also pretty common. But obstacles, challenges, this occurs when we've ignored our intuition or we're moving in a direction that is not optimal for us. This is your 2x4 moment, right? This is when you have veered from your optimal path. When something enters into your life that you do not want, that is a challenge or an obstacle, and I'll use my own life as an example. Sudden divorce, a sudden move, a job loss. These are the things that are obstacles or challenges. These are the things that redirect your life. Our opportunity in that moment is to get really curious and stop moving. This is when inaction, observation, and curiosity are your greatest tools. You want to stop, go, isn't that interesting? What is the message I'm not hearing? What is the universe, my soul, God, telling me? And here, and this is one of my biggest challenges, I get impatient. I'm like, okay, I got it. I see you. I hear you. So give me the answer. Right, Karen? Yeah. Rarely do we get the information at the same time that the challenge or the obstacle occurs. The antidote is self-care, quiet, listening, observation, go do the dishes, go vacuum the floor, go for a walk, and wait. Don't take action. Don't react. Don't say, oh, I'm just going to go do this. I don't care. Oh, I'm just going to apply for 100 jobs. It's not there. It's not time. This is where we lean into trust. Number one, we trust ourselves. We trust ourselves to know that we will find the answer. We trust ourselves to recognize when that comes. We trust ourselves to know if we need to phone a friend. Do we need to call somebody and process through what's happening in your life so that we can gain outside perspective. One of the greatest gifts is having a community or a mentor who can reflect back to you what is optimal for you in that situation. Cultivate a community that can meet you. That is vital. Have somebody on your side. Have somebody on your team. I don't think I could have got through the last 3 years without my community. Certainly not the way I did. Sure, there were tough times, but there was more grace and ease than there were challenges. And when those challenges occurred, I had people I could call, or a community like the Trust Circle that I could step into and say, today, it sucks, let me tell you. And then receive wisdom, or at the very least, support and love. Obstacles and challenges are redirection. And this is when we slow down and we listen. Now, we've gone through fear and anxiety, belief and behavior, challenges and obstacles, all 3 ways in which we call to us situations to help us evolve. We've talked about how to overcome them using discernment, observation, and curiosity. Now that we're in that obstacle and challenge, I'll get to the 3rd part of our work today. What is the single ingredient you need to manifest intentionally? That ingredient is heart and feeling. If you want to manifest, you have to feel it. Those wishes and dreams that you speak, they will manifest when you feel them. Sit in meditation. Daydream. Daydreaming is one of the greatest tools for feeling into what you want to bring into your life. Daydreaming is infinitely powerful and underutilized because it will take you places that you have not been and could not imagine. Feel it. Let it sink into every cell in your body. Move it from that mental construct into the felt sense. And by the way, when you do that, you'll know if it's for you. And it feels a little bit off. If it feels a little bit, it's not quite there, then go back to your tools. Discern, observe, and get curious. How can I refine this? Do I need to let go of a part of it? Do I need to be less prescriptive and more open to what I don't know? You see, our perspective is this big, right? What we know comes from our experiences, some from our intuition, but mostly from the mind. The universe has infinite wisdom. It's pulling from your past lives, your future lives, your current life, where you're going to be in 60 minutes, where you're going to be in 6 years. And your soul and the universe and your soul family have constructed this path for you. Your opportunity is to get right in here, to stay aligned, and then say yes, and yes, and yes. So everybody close your eyes just for a moment. I'm going to hold the energy for every person here. I want you to feel the optimal timeline standing in front of you. Imprint that, whether you use a word or a phrase or a vision, whatever you want, feel into that and hold that timeline. You feel your heart opening. Can you feel the effervescence of excitement? And if you don't see or feel, know infinite possibilities await if you stay receptive. Open your energy. Allow the universe to co-create with you and receive the guidance and support that is waiting for you. Open, allow, receive. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. For those who are on camera, I could see these big smiles come across their face. And the energy just expanded. So who you were 5 minutes ago and who you are now has shifted to align to that which is waiting to be found by you. It is a very, very powerful position. And it doesn't mean you have all the answers. What it does mean is that you trust yourself and the universe to give you exactly what is meant for you. My hands feel hot. All right. We're about an hour in, and I want to pause. I did have a channeling that came through. I know, shocker, right? That I will read to you. But I want to stop and ask. Do you have questions? Is there something coming up that you want support or clarity on? Does anyone want to share their experience? What is true for you in this moment? And do you want to share it? Does that mean you want to share, Heather? No. No. Dorothy.
Okay. Yeah, this past, well, 4 months or so, almost 6 months, have been a time of transition. When I found out that I was going to need to move, you mentioned moving being an obstacle or a challenge. And yet the move has felt like a totally positive thing to have happened. And I'm just not sure how my business comes back into play with this, whether the business is meant to evolve further or to change directions totally, or to just relax into possibly something totally new.
So I agree. The move was a positive challenge that became an opportunity for you and opened doors that you didn't know were available. So my question to you is, when you close your mind, close your eyes and go into your heart, how does the business feel for you?
If the business really came from where I was before, I mean, just because it related to home sharing.
Right.
And here I am now living on my own in an apartment, and I still hope I can create community here. But what's the best way for me to share my experience so that it could benefit other people? I've already decided to let go one portion of the business, which is a membership base. But I still have the possibility perhaps of sharing with speaking in workshops and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure if that's, maybe I just need to sit with it more to see. I did schedule another workshop, which I haven't done a workshop since October, I think, or even earlier. Maybe it was even summer. But I did open the possibility for people who wish to sign up for a workshop on my website. Anyway, and I'm just not sure. Maybe I just need to wait and see how it's going to open.
Yeah. What I would do is, I think taking a step in the direction of the workshop is great because it's going to give you information. It'll either take off and it'll be vital and it'll propel you forward, or it will signal to you that there's a different direction to go. One of the things that I do when I run into a situation where I'm not sure which direction to take is I start having conversations. So especially being you're in a new community, having conversations with your neighbors and the people around you
Mhm.
and your online community and the community that you've developed around the US, saying, what are the unique challenges that you face in your living situation, or how can you be more comfortable? And watching what the universe is going to drop into your world.
Mhm.
What is the universe going to show you? I think being in a state of receptivity well supports the ambiguity, because it'll give you at least one step. And as we know, that's all we need to do is take that one step, and then the next one will show up.
Mhm.
So when you think of that, how does that feel in your body?
Yeah, I think just trusting that the next step will reveal itself, I think is important. And
Yeah.
sure, I could take some things like doing the workshop and maybe be available for, I do have a couple of speaking engagements lined up in April. So just sort of be open to it and see what comes and make them available. I'm not going to be madly marketing my services, but I'll just make them available.
Yeah.
And see.
Yeah. See how the universe responds. This is that time where we step into patience, and I agree. It is, for me, it's the hardest time. I want to take action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did talk to my web person yesterday, and she's going to do some changes to the website, remove the membership portion, because I'm not going to do membership. And she's just asked me to send her some words to put in about speaking and that kind of thing. So I can still do that,
Yeah.
give her something to put in there and then see what opens.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the idea of your speaking. I think there's a huge community that needs to hear your experiences and your wisdom about creating a strong foundation and security in as we age.
Yeah. Yeah. As we all are.
And a huge population. And they don't know. And they don't know what they don't know. So I think speaking and sharing your wisdom is absolutely a wonderful direction.
So we'll start it off and see where it goes.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to share their experience moving forward, or any of the challenges they may encounter, Heather?
Those when I hear from others that it prompts something for me. And Dorothy's sharing in your response, Teresa, you said asking questions. And my experience has come from putting out my thoughts, putting out my ideas, putting out almost a reflection of what I'm hearing from others. That when I respond and allow what wants to come through, that once it's expressed, it gives an opportunity for me to then receive it back. And I loved hearing from you about asking questions, because I don't typically ask questions. And that is just a reminder that there are other ways to play, right? And like you say, dance with the universe. I have only been putting out my thoughts, my ideas, my reflections, what's coming through me, and knowing, and more recently, very powerfully, receiving so much. That asking questions, hearing that from you right now is really powerful. So thank you.
You're welcome. One of my greatest challenges is, what kind of questions am I supposed to be asking? Right? And that's always been my stumbling block. And it can be general. What do I need to know? What color is it? What does it feel like? Is it here? Is it there? Simple, basic questions so that you start following this trail of breadcrumbs. And it's like cooking spaghetti. You throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. And if it doesn't, you keep trying something different. Amanda.
Well, I think that both Dorothy and Heather both tapped into something that really resonated with me too. Because when you started talking about curiosity, which is asking questions, right? It's, to me, the difference of being caught up in our minds. And I was listening to a meditation this morning about how a Zen master would say that we're all too caught up, right, and lost in our minds.
Yeah.
And you know, when I think about asking questions and I think about my beliefs, my thoughts, well, it's all my mind, right? Like I need to ask questions that I mean more curious about what I'm thinking. And if I lean into my curiosity, am I leaning into what I think or what I thought was the right path, or you know, what I thought I was interested in, or do I lean into what is coming forward to me, right? Which is a slightly different curiosity, right? I'm leaning into the universe or into this message that is sort of being presented to me. And sometimes, you know, when something happens that doesn't feel good, it's kind of like, oof, you know, you cower away versus lean in and go, ooh, all right, tell me more, right? You know,
Yeah.
these obstacles. And I think the big aha moment for me in this last hour is kind of leaning into not only asking questions that are heartfelt, that are less and less mind felt,
Yeah.
and then knowing the difference, right? Really knowing the difference of like, am I being curious with what I thought was a good intention 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
What I thought was a good business plan 6 months ago, but now it's sort of like, maybe it's changing a little bit. Do I lean into kind of what's now unfolding, and you know, the curiosity of where to kind of, I don't know if I'm making sense by trying to describe that. But
Totally
it's
making sense. Yes.
to me, it's sort of like, you know, I could be curious about something. Yes, that's the right path, and I go forward with that. But then something doesn't feel right. You know, I'm like, okay. So it's sort of leaning and being curious about how I'm feeling, like into my feelings, which is about my heart. So anyways, I don't know if that resonated with anyone else, but there's a fine line, and I'm probably not alone in feeling a little uncomfortable about trusting the universe because I want to do it all myself and I don't have very much patience. I want it all right now.
Yeah.
And to find comfort, you know, in the ambiguity and in the uncertainty, and lean into that with more grace.
Yes. That's the opportunity, isn't it? To recognize that we're a natural being and we need those times to slow down and do nothing so that the universe can pull all these things together for us. Because the universe is also bringing people to you and situations, and nobody is running on our schedule. We want it now, but the universe is out there conspiring for your good, and it's constructing that which you want in your life, that or something better. And the other thing that comes to mind is, I don't know about you, but I look at myself 6 months ago and I go, who dat? You know, I feel like 6 months in today's term is 6 years. Like I look back to December when I was trying to make sense of all this information that was coming through. Things are moving so rapidly that this, okay, thank you. The impatience we feel is anticipation of all the good that's coming in. If we reframe our impatience, and this is so much for me as it is for everybody here, reframe impatience to anticipation and excitement. Oh my God, I love that. Again, I love that because all of a sudden, life just took on a different meaning. Just because you're down and out doesn't mean you're out. You're resting and you're waiting and you're anticipating and you're waiting with excitement. And this goes back to feeling it so that it can manifest. But when we push and control and manipulate and manage, we shut down that which wants to come in. We make it harder, not only for ourselves, but for the universe. And things are going to happen rapidly. We really need to stay this inner authority, this autonomy, sovereignty. And that's what I was channeling this morning is these are our job right now. Live with intention from authority, autonomy, and sovereignty. And the intention is, how do you want to feel? You can have the external constructs, but how do you feel? Karen.
Okay, Teresa. You know, some of us are impatient as hell, right? And of course, we have this huge tendency to leap on the known, to leap on the I can do that.
Yeah.
How do you know if that's leading you somewhere or if that's just busy work that will distract you? And of course, some of us, you know, you say, sit still and wait. I was born without an idle switch. I don't idle, I go, right? So advice for people like me, and how do you discern? Is it because I could go in 57 different directions?
Yeah.
Which I often do, which just makes me crazy. And I think shuts down my capacity to listen. Dina's over there laughing at me because she knows me too well. So
Yeah,
what about those of us who, you know, have this compelling desire to act? And
Yeah.
is this the right thing to act on, or should I say, yes, I could do that, but I'm going to set it aside and let it be and see what happens?
So distraction is one of our greatest coping mechanisms for life. Because
I'm
it
good at
pulls
it
us
then.
out. It pulls us out of the anxiety of waiting. So if distraction is your go-to response, then make it a positive. Make it work in your favor. Before you take action, close your eyes. Does this feel right? If it's a no, don't do it. Now, this is accountability on your side, right? If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Okay. If it does feel right, go do it. If it does, if you get a neutral, if you get a meh, I mean, you can do it, but you're kind of wasting your time kind of thing. Then do something else because you don't have clarity on your next steps. Go for a walk. Go do some photography in the neighborhood because I know you. I know the things that fill your soul. Bring your soul to a place of balance and neutrality and create that clear foundation, right? When we are using tools to cope, we're moving into anxiety. Take 3 steps back, create neutrality, and go do something to distract yourself. Deep breathing, a walk, paint, draw, sing, dance. Turn on the music and dance. Clear your energies through movement. And then come back at the end, close your eyes, take a deep breath and say, okay, I really want to send that proposal now. Oh, it's a no. How interesting. There's more information coming.
Hmm.
See, we don't know what we don't know. And what if in the next 20 minutes, you get a piece of information that completely changes what that proposal is going to be? Right? Patience, trust yourself. And find ways to overcome your coping mechanism, whatever that is. Mine is impatience. Other people, it's perfectionism. They can't do anything until it's perfect. Some people, it's distraction. Some people, it's, what's that called? Where you overthink something.
Analysis
all-
paralysis.
That's it. We all have our coping mechanisms. This is about you, your journey. Get to know you. What is your coping mechanism? And find the tool that allows you to overcome. Discern, observe, be curious. Take a step back, put it in a bubble. Wait until you can feel it in your body. Does that help?
Mm. Yes, I think it does, and maybe for me, since I have this tendency to leap, right? Leap before
Yeah.
you see how deep the cliff is. To maybe check back in 2 or 3 times and see, does it still feel right? Is it,
Brilliant.
or is it something else before you leap and totally occupy yourself in the wrong direction? Because then you just have to wait and, till that's done before you can come back to where you should have been.
Yep. I think that's brilliant. I think that's absolutely perfect. Because you know what a full body yes feels like, Karen. You know it. So use that. Great question. Great clarification. I think all of us related to most, if not all of that. Okay, we have about 10 minutes left. And I know I've peppered our conversation. I know that went fast. With some of the channeling that came in prior to the class today or to the workshop today. So I want to read you what came in. The 7 year of spirituality is not one of simple hermit introspection. The energies on this planet have grown more potent, and we ask that those on the evolutionary path move deeper into their personal power as anchored by their soul, their purpose, and their contribution to the planet. We do not require that you have the answers. Simply be open to discover them, allow them into your energy, receive the promptings when they come, and take action. This is the year of authority, autonomy, and sovereignty. Authority over your experience. You determine what aligns with your soul's expression in the human body. Be conscious of all you feed yourself. Thoughts, outside influences, such as social media, friends, family, food that is from this earth, companions that align with your values, and celebrate your evolution and success. Autonomy and self-determination of what is optimal for you to express within and without. You determine what is optimal for you. You lean into a relationship of trust with your inner knowing. You cultivate this relationship. You trust that what is yours will come to you when you stay autonomous. This doesn't mean alone. It means standing firm in your own power as you meet and co-create with others in their power. Sovereignty over your experience and the collective diminishing of the victim morphogenic field. You are powerful. Own it. You are now required to self-determine from your powerful intentions. They do not need to be detailed. And in fact, we ask that you hold the emotions and energy of the experience rather than the outcome. Be open to something greater than you can imagine. This is the key element to intention. Stay open, stay general in your wants and desires. We sound as if we contradict, but we do not. You can hold an intention to be of service using your gifts in a way that brings you financial success without being completely scripted on how this will show up. A large part of manifestation is trust. Know that this or something better will show, and it will be so. It may not look exactly as you thought, but it will be exactly what you need. It is time to own your power. The collective consciousness is expanding, growing, and your individual contribution is essential for this to continue. The way to do this is through deep intentionality and alignment. This is why we gave the steps to creating an intentional life. We want you to succeed and grow. We want you to have the tools and framework to build the lenses on your world that allow a perspective that includes your personal power and evolution. It is time for humanity to step up and participate in ways greater than ever before. To do so, one must overcome the hurdles that are designed to build wisdom and awareness. Throughout the years, we have communicated ways in which you can increase your influence with your own experiences, your community, and the world. We ask that you step into an intentional life and create everything that is waiting for you to claim it. Yes, for those who are called to fully self-realize and express, the follow-up workshop is a wonderful first step. Certainly not for everyone, but for those who feel the calling within, we ask you bravely step into that which is yours to receive, be, and do, and support your evolution so you can contribute to the global evolution. You influence, you matter, and we know the ones who will rise. We support you with the individual learning, and we support your soul. Please answer the call. In this 7 year of spirituality, we ask, be fully present, play full out, redeem the rewards, and support waiting for you. We are here. We are here for you. Your evolution is assured. Live with intention and purpose. We love you, we support you, and we co-create in 2023 and beyond. So, the year feels exciting and vital. And my intention is that everyone here receive exactly what they need to step into what is theirs to claim. I love you all so very much. I am here for you. I support you. Join me at the Trust Circle. Set up a time to chat. Join me in alchemy. Let's make 2023 amazing. Thank you, everyone. I love you so much. And you can all mute and say bye, hi, and
Yes, thank you, Teresa. It's wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Teresa.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, many blessings, much peace.
It's been wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Let
Thank
the
you, Teresa.
plate full out.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.